This is my first video describing about iOS, and we might have heard about the new iOS 14 latest specification. And according to WWDC, which I have watched, they have said that iOS 14 is known to be the best Apple update as for now. Why are those? And to be honest, they're actually quite right in a way, but even wrong in another way, since they said they have new home screen changes, home screen improvements, I mean, where you can segregate your apps into different groups, like into specific groups. Also, there have been improvements on Siri, where you want to ask something, it won't take on the whole view, especially when it comes to requests, which is very good. For example, if you want to ask Siri something, obviously you'll take up the whole space, but in reality, for the iOS 14 thing, it won't happen. Not only Siri, but also the phone calls, which makes it much better because it does not take up the whole screen view. They also updated a new feature in iOS 14, which is the widgets, where you can look at weather, you can look at a sport like running, how much you ran, your working time, your schedule. And if the widgets is a new thing in iOS 14, which means Samsung also had it. How widgets work is that you can just drag the widgets, your favorite widget, like for example, if you want to check on weather. With a Smart Stack feature, the iPhone can use on device intelligence to surface the right widget based on time, location, and activity. Each home screen page can really display its widgets customized for work, travel, sports, and more. The Today section where widgets are housed, meaning grouped, and it has also been redesigned, and there's a widget gallery where users can choose the new widgets from apps and customize those widgets. Came up, or they have a meeting or a schedule, I think they take up the whole screen, which makes it very annoying for every one of the iPhone users out there. Now, iOS 14 has done something which is amazing. Why am I saying that? Is because usually when the phone calls appear, it takes up the whole screen. So which means if you're watching a video or if you're watching anything like a video or a movie, it won't take up the whole space, the whole view. I think it all relates to Android 11 as said specifically. So if you want to watch the Android 11 video, it's right here or here somewhere. You can see that I button here. So I have said that Android 11, they don't take up the whole space like they do in Android 10 and the others. I think iOS 14 has also done the same thing by not taking up the whole space. Thus, they only take up the whole. So, for example, if the call came up, it will cover only the top part of the screen rather than the whole screen. And Siri, instead of really popping up an app of Siri, there'll just be a logo of Siri to just remind you that yes, there's a the most important thing when it comes to using Android or iPhone or any other brand. When it comes to any other brand, I believe messaging is one of the most important thing in everyone's aspect of life. iOS 14 has done something great. Why would I say that? Is because whenever a message has been popped up. Now, speaking of messages, when a message has been popped up, what they do is that also for messages, it allows the user to pin an important conversation so that it stays on the app. Now, what that means is that, for example, a message will pop up. Now, if that's not an important thing to you, what you can do is just remove it. Since it's not important to you, a message came up. The role of phone is to give you or remind you that there's a message coming up. Now, it's up to you whether you want to remove it or pin it. That is what iOS 14 has done. So if it's something which is really important to you, you can, in a way, I believe, you can pin that conversation so that it stays there. So whenever you want to message, you can really message that. So I think it stays as like a draft way, where you will message, but not now, but later in the time, since it's so important to you. Or if you want to message now, you can also message now. But things which are not important, it's up to the user to decide whether they want to remove the message, or they can also pin the message so that it's important to them. One thing iOS 14 has done, which means they have jumped compared to all the other AIs out there, all the other artificial intelligence out there. iOS 14 has allowed, so for okay, this might sound quite obnoxious, but iOS 14 has upgraded in such a way that you can actually use your phone as digital car keys. If you don't believe me, you can watch the WWDC. I think I'll give the link in the description below. They have allowed to switch on a car or start the engine of a car, if there's engine, using iOS 14. And I think what I don't like is that you have to take your iPhone out, or you have to take your Apple Watch close to the door so that you can unlock the car or you can start the car. Now, I hate about this thing because it's so annoying to take a phone out or an Apple Watch close to the door. So what Apple has decided, or iOS specifically has decided, that next year they'll try to do in such a way that you can leave your phones in the pocket itself, and your Apple Watch, like you can literally just stand like this without bringing your hand close to the door, and you still unlock. Or your Apple phone can be in a pocket and still unlock or start the car, which is pretty amazing, and it's completely unique compared to all the other Android. Especially if I talk about the Android 11 thing, as an Android fan, I would say Android 11 did not do this feature. If they did, comment down below. But I'm sure Android 11 did not do this feature, but iOS 14 has jumped on. Now, if you ask me, which car has actually allowed this thing? Yes, the BMW X5 2021 model was the first car to actually use that method, where you can unlock your car using the phone, your iPhone specifically, and the Apple Watch. I think it makes it much easier. So, for example, now here's the catch. If you lose your phone or your Apple Watch, it won't work in any way, because I think BMW X. I don't have a BMW. I'm so sorry about that. But BMW, I think they will provide you keys in a way, because it's an electric car. But what I believe is that phone is another way of unlocking the car, and surely they'll give you keys. Obviously, you can use the keys, but then your iPhone or your Apple Watch, if it's lost, it'll disable all the controls, which means you can't play your music in the car, you can't talk in the car, or you can't do simple things in your BMW, which makes it harder for you since you got used to using phones or Apple Watches in your car. Finally, the iOS 14 allows the users to play the users to set wallpapers and do many of the simple things like rent a scooter, or if you have an electric vehicle, few of you, if you have electric vehicles, you can allow the car to park by itself without you really managing how to like parking in a correct way. Not only they can do complicated as parking, they can also do simple thing as ordering food if you're lazy. I have given my best to explain the astonishing features about the iOS 14. With that being said, I'm gonna end the video here. Hope you enjoyed the video. Give a big thumbs up to this video. Smash the subscribe button. My outro would be road to 105 millions, and I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.